What's up YouTubers, Johnny DIY here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to install or replace the front derailleur on your bike. I'm also going to show you guys how to adjust it and get it all set up. If you guys are new to my channel, do me a favor, click the subscribe and the notification bell so you can get all my new videos. Alright, let's get to it.
Okay, now here's our front derailleur on our bike. This is the one we're going to be replacing. It's been damaged and bent, as well as these limiting screws are kind of stripped, so we're going to replace this. The first thing you're going to need to do is remove the chain from your sprocket. You're going to need a chain breaker tool if your chain doesn't have a master link. I'll go ahead and put links down in the description to all the tools and supplies I'm using today. Once we have the chain removed, we're going to come around to the other side of the bike. First, we'll go ahead and remove the cable from the derailleur. You're going to need a number 5 Allen key. I have this one set up on a ratchet for easy use. You could just use a normal one as well. Just loosen that up and we can take the cable out. Now we'll go ahead and loosen the clamp that holds the derailleur on the down tube. That's the same size, number 5. If your derailleur was set up properly, you can go ahead and mark this location of the derailleur. That way, when we put our new one on, we'll be able to put it back to the same spot. And we can open it up and remove that derailleur. Okay, now let's talk about our new derailleur. You're going to need to match up your old one with your new one. This one is a clamp style one that clamps. They also have the ones that mount with just a bolt, so you'll need to buy the right mounting style one. If you have a clamp one like this, the down tube right here, you're going to need to measure that, and that's going to correlate to the size of this. Some of them are universal. This one happens to be, if you look on the inside, a 31.8 millimeter. You also need to purchase the one that has the correct cable location. This is a top pull because the cable is coming from the top down and it pulls up. Some of them, the cable may be coming from underneath, and that will be a bottom pull. You're also going to need to get one that correlates to the front sprockets. This has 3 sprockets. This one will work for 2 or 3, so keep that in mind as well. Go ahead and open this clamp up, and we're going to put that on the down tube. Go ahead and put it back to where you had the old one. Then we're going to lightly tighten down that Allen so that we can still adjust it, not only up and down, but side to side. We want it snug enough though so it'll stay where it is. Okay, now up around the front we can see that there's a large gap between the largest sprocket and the top of this. We're going to need to shift this and lower it down. You only need about 1 millimeter of gap between the top tooth and the bottom of the arm of the derailleur. So if we grab the derailleur, we can push the spring and see we just need it 1 millimeter gap between the tooth and that. That looks good. And then as we look from above, we also need to rotate this in and out. We need this part of the derailleur to line up perfectly parallel with the large chain ring on our bike. Once we're happy with the location, not only up and down, but side to side, then we can go ahead and snug this down. There we go. Now let's put our chain back on. We're gonna feed it through the front derailleur. And through the back. Goes over the top, first gear in the back. Get a piece of wire to help us put the chain back together. Now, since this one doesn't have a master pin, we'll just reconnect it using our chain breaker tool. We'll just tighten it down. We'll just push that pin back in. We're just gonna drive it back in until it's just a little proud of the surface. Just like the other links. And we can remove our wire that's holding the chain together. Now with the chain back on, we're gonna place that on the lowest gear setting, which is the smallest cog in the front and the largest one on the back. It's the slowest combination. Also want to make sure that our gear levers are matching those same settings. Also going to want to adjust our barrel adjuster on the front cog shift lever. We're going to turn it clockwise all the way till it bottoms out. Then we're going to back it out 2 turns. Now you're going to go ahead and loosen this pinch bolt right here. We're going to take our shifter cable and we're going to feed that under the pinch bolt. Then you're going to snug down the pinch bolt. Okay, now looking at the derailleur from above, there's these two screws right here. These are your limiting screws. These are what's going to adjust the placement of the derailleur. This front one is the low adjuster. If you look on the side right below it, it should say low and high. You can use a flathead or a Phillips, and if you give it a turn, you're going to see that the derailleur moves inward and outward. And what we're going to need to do is turn it just a little bit, quarter of a turn clockwise. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make this gap between the chain and the back of the derailleur as small as we can without it hitting the derailleur. It only needs to be about a 1 millimeter gap. So by turning it clockwise, it moves it a little closer. So just do a quarter turn at a time and give your gears a turn and make sure it's not rubbing on it. We'll give it one more hair of a turn. And it looks like it's rubbing just a little when we give our gears a spin. So what we'll do is we'll just back it off just slightly, not even a quarter of a turn. We'll loosen it. It's not rubbing at all. It's good. Now what we're gonna do is try and shift into the middle gear in the front. And then back down. We're gonna check to make sure it's shifting smoothly. It's not smooth. And if we take a look at our shift cable, it's very slack. So what you're gonna wanna do is loosen that pinch bolt up and take the slack in just a little bit. Okay, now with the slack taken out of the line, we're gonna try and shift again to the middle cog and then back down. Make sure that when you press the lever on the handlebars, you depress it all the way. Small cog, large cog, and down, and back up. Shifting nice and smooth and fast, no lag. That's good. Now we're gonna put it in the highest gear, which is the smallest cog in the back and the largest one in the front. So go ahead and bring it all the way down in the back. And we're gonna bring it all the way up to the large cog in the front. Looks like we can't even get it to shift. Now we'll need to adjust the high limit screw, this back one. That controls how far this front derailleur can go. We push it with our lever, see? It's not letting us push it out enough. So let go of the lever, and you're just gonna loosen it about a quarter turn at a time. Now you can go ahead and try and shift into the largest chainring. Not quite there yet. So I'm gonna loosen it another quarter turn. Now it shifts up. Check it back down, back up, back down, back up. Looks like it's rubbing a little on the front. So what we'll do is with the chain on the largest gear, so all we need to do is actually back out counterclockwise our barrel adjuster a turn. That's just gonna tighten it up. And what that's gonna do is move the derailleur out just a little bit. Give it a spin. Make sure it's still shifting down. Back up, down, back up. Just barely any rub. Back out the barrel adjuster another half turn. I got rid of the rub. Back down. Back up. Now finally, we're just gonna wanna shift through all the combinations of gears. Make sure everything's working nice and smooth. Everything's working nice and smooth. All of our gear combinations work. Now the last step is to get out there and ride, and you may need to make small adjustments and tweaks to the barrel adjuster as well as those high and low limit screws, but it should be pretty well set up to get out there and ride. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe and click the notification bell so you can get all my new videos. Thanks for watching Johnny DIY. Keep on doing it yourself, guys. Take care.